I've got a submission here from ZParticle who wants some advice. You swapped out your CC3D for an ACE32 Rev 6 and you were having oscillation problems. First race of the season is March 5th. Okay, it's only, yes, you still hopefully have time. I didn't wait too long. I love what you're doing, or what you did about the oscillations so far. This is a great procedure. You did the right thing. Very methodical, very scientific, and if you have max P of 4.2 and you're having oscillations, then you sort of backed it down. You actually cut it in half. That's perfect. Perfect. So I really like your procedure there. I want to give you a compliment on that. It's very similar to what I would do, and I feel like you're on the right track with your understanding of how to troubleshoot tunes. Sorry you haven't found your answer yet. I have not looked, I haven't got to your Blackbox log yet. We'll get there. I do want to say that I have heard reports of problems with the gyro chip on some ACE32 Rev 6s. It is really hard to sort out truth from fiction on the internet. You could just have some squeaky wheels who are complaining because they're the one who got a bad board. You could have some people who crashed their board into a wall and then it didn't work and they were like, geez, this thing broke. I don't understand. So you don't know whether there's anything, whether there's fire to go with the smoke, as they say. No, that's the opposite of what they say. Well, anyway, you don't know. But there's definitely smoke. There might not be fire, but there's definitely smoke regarding the ACE32 Rev 6. I am a little suspicious of this board. We'll look at your tune. But if you have an ACE32 Rev 6 and you have some kind of a weird tuning oscillation or something you just cannot get rid of, try swapping it for an ACE32 Rev 5 and see what happens. Or an X-Racer F303, which I haven't personally flown, but is my current... not only would I buy it, I actually just got 2 of them in the mail today for a build I'm going to do. So, and I bought them with my own money, you people out there who are... Yeah, I know who you are. No, I don't know who you are, actually. I just thought that would be a cool thing to say. Yeah, I have some of those. So, if you really just cannot solve it, swap your board and see if the problem goes away. And if it does, then come back here and say, yeah, an ACE32 Rev 6 sucks. God, anyway, let's take a look. Begin with the gyros, as usual. Gyros look great. Oh, yeah, tons of oscillation, though. Gyros look great in that you have pencil-thin lines. Now, you have pencil-thin lines because, oh my God, what is it? August 2015? Gyro LPF of 42. Wow. Nobody should have to subject themselves to that in this day and age. Please. Does it feel like you're flying through a layer of cotton? I don't know. It probably feels fine. You got a lot of oscillation here, though. You're super filtered, though. So you have the very, 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 very thin lines, as would be expected. Gosh, I hope we can get... Whatever you got to do, you shouldn't have to fly with gyro LPF 42 in this day and age. If you're flying Betaflight, for sure. Even CleanFlight 1.12, you shouldn't have to do that. So, or 1.11, or even 1.10, I think, had soft filters. I'm not sure. So, you definitely can see the oscillation, but it's not high frequency enough to look like just a thick line. It's just huge back and forth wiggles and jiggles. So, let's take a look at what's going on. We'll start with your roll axis. Now, I feel like your approach with the P term is probably pretty correct. So I feel like we're probably going to find that your P term is fine. Yeah. The P term looks active but not overactive. Here's a little point where we have an oscillation. Overall, though, we don't see too many of these strong oscillations. Most of the time, it is down here, sort of in the loping along, surging, working, but not flipping out range. Occasionally, we do start to see some oscillations, but mostly it's active but well controlled. Now, here, something else is happening entirely. So, my first instinct in a situation like this is to reduce the D gain. I know it's kind of a cheap fallback thing to say. You say if you ease up the D term, it goes apeshit, even though it's still relatively low. I'm not sure what you mean there. If you ease up the D term, like if you reduce the D gain, then what goes apeshit? The D term goes apeshit? It shouldn't go apeshit if you reduce it. Does the P term go apeshit? I feel like I would be curious what would happen. Did you do this P term tuning with a low D gain? Right? You've got D of 12. That's not that high. That's not that high. But I would like to take it down just to get it out of the equation and see what's going on. Or swap your board. Because this is 12 is not that high. And it really is going nuts. The D term is going bonkers here. It's really going bonkers. And it makes me wonder if the gyro can be trusted. Not quite as bad on pitch. That's to be expected. Because pitch is more damped. Your pitch P could probably come up, incidentally. Yeah, I think pitch P could come up. Not that you asked. Yeah, P might could come up too. It looks like your primary, this oscillation problem is primarily on roll. Is that consistent with the gyros? Nah. Well, like here, yes. It's mostly on roll. Yeah, it might be a little bit on pitch too, but mostly roll. So look, take your D gain down. Just take it to like 0. Or, yeah, just to get that out of the equation. And see if that gets rid of it. You really shouldn't have to filter as much as you are. That's the thing. I really am suspicious of your board. I hate to point a finger at the nays and accuse it unjustifiably. But I think you should swap your board for a different one. Swap it for a Rev 5. Swap it for another board, like a solid board. Like I say Rev 5, not because it's like the best board, but because it's been around forever and you can be reasonably certain that if you put one on, like it doesn't have some weird gyro problem. If you really want to experiment, put an ACE32 Rev 5 on, tape it to the top of your copter or something, or put it on a stack if you have room, put it on the stack above your current flight controller. And then run a spare output on your receiver or parallel your serial output to the ACE32 Rev 5. So both of them are getting the same output, and hook a Blackbox device up to both of them. In other words, so both of them are on the copter. Only the Rev 6 is actually controlling the copter. The Rev 5 is just along for the ride. Run the receiver output into both of them, have a Blackbox hooked up to both of them, and record both of them, and compare the gyro traces and see if they match. Because one of them may just have bogus gyro traces. Anyway, that's what I've got. This is a weird one. It doesn't look like I said lower your D gains, but it doesn't look like your P or your D gains are causing the problems you're seeing. I don't have a good explanation for the problems you're seeing, and that's why I think that it would be worthwhile to swap the board, would be my next suggestion. And if that doesn't do it, I don't know. It's a weird one. All right, well, I hope that was helpful, and happy flying.